It's a beautiful day here in New Jersey. We're going to be doing a little Jersey case law today, and maybe it'll apply to the state where you're at. If you guys are watching. But for our New Jersey guys, it's probably going to be a real popular video. It'll answer some questions for you that you guys have all been pondering and discussing over midnight muster, a.k.a. police Supreme Court rulings. Because when you collaborate and put 10 police officers' heads together who have never read case law, that just makes automatic case law because of a collective opinion. But what actually happens is cases get heard at appellate division and Supreme Court levels, and they actually make real rulings. So you don't have to ponder anymore of what you can and can't do. It's already been explained for you. So I'm going to talk about a couple cases today. One's going to be State v. Patino, 1980, and then another one is going to be State v. Letman, 1989. And this really dictates where we're allowed to search when we have probable cause, what's associated to, and how far we can go. Now, as you all know, I always tell you, even with probable cause, always ask for consent to search. Why is that? Because unlike the federal standard and the ability to search when you have probable cause, you can search everything. In New Jersey, it's a little more strict, and you have to have probable cause tied into the areas of the automobile that you're searching. So how do you fix that? Well, if you have probable cause, you can ask for consent to search. Matter of fact, if you have reasonable suspicion, which is less than probable cause, you can ask for consent to search. People's first response to that is, well, I don't like the way that looks. Sorry, Bob. When you go to court, you ask for probable cause. You have probable cause and you ask for consent. I don't understand. Look, there's an easy explanation for it, and it's true. I wasn't sure, or I wanted to be sure that I was going to the trunk legally. I didn't want to violate the man's rights or the woman's rights, so I offered them consent to search, and then I searched. If they refused consent, I then searched with what I believed I had. Now, when in doubt, call a canine. It really just comes down to that. Canine comes, canine indicates. Outside of one county in New Jersey who's now changed the rules, I'm not even getting into it. When the canine indicates, that establishes probable cause for the presence of narcotics, allowing you to search your motor vehicle from bumper to bumper, and all the containers and packages found herein. Why does that give you the authorizations? Because the dog, any canine handler is going to describe or explain to you that scent can travel anywhere throughout the car. It can make its way into the trunk from the front of the car, and there's no way to determine where the narcotics may be located in the car. So I can go more into that, but I'm going to say that for another time. We'll go into this. So again, if you have probable cause, I ask guys all the time, like, I searched here. Was that okay? I'm like, have you heard me tell you? You were in my class. I told you, ask for consent to search when you have probable cause, correct? Yeah. Why don't you do it? I don't know. I'm not. No. Look, for those who don't ask for consent to search, years ago when we had Pena Flores, still, it's been absolved, doesn't exist anymore. But when we had Pena Flores, we had to ask for consent every single time. And if you didn't get it, we had to tow the car and get a search warrant. So and I got to tell you, I probably for every 100 times I asked for consent to search, 99 of them said okay. It's usually the one. I've gotten like 7 search warrants in 14-year career. So that just goes to show you when people deny consent to search, especially when you're becoming reasonable with them. And you're trying to explain to them, hey, this is what we're going to do. I am going to search. Just know what you're going to say. I've had a lot of guys we haven't had Timmy T in the group who said that he had a consent search on an odor of marijuana smell, got like 465 bags of cocaine, and it stuck. I had another guy just went to court on it, and he said they didn't even bring it up why I got consent when I had PC. And eventually, if you have concern with that consent and PC, you could just ask the guy, hey man, does it smell like weed in your car? Do you smell the weed in your car? And the guy would be like, oh, well, yeah, we did smoke earlier, try to get that admission. And again, if you're saying that you have probable cause and you smell or see things, well then obviously you're going to be able to prove that once you found it, or you bring it up in front of a camera and say, hey, look here, this is what we saw, this is what we smelled. Obviously, it's here. Are there times where you're going to smell weed and not find any? Yeah, it happens, but as long as you're not making a habit of it and it's not 10 times over, I'm not telling you don't ever play a cheap route on this. Don't ever cheat in this game. It's not worth it. It's not worth your job. You got to play fair, and you can play fair and win every single time as long as you have the knowledge. So let's see. Of course, Brian's jumping in. Thanks, Ant. That looks stunning. I appreciate it. And then Brian jumps. Those pictures make him seem smart. Then you hear him talk. Thanks, buddy. Anyway, let's go into boy, Brian Dirty. I hope you fall down and hurt your shin tonight. I really do. All right. So in Patino, what happens is they found a small quantity of marijuana inside a vehicle's passenger compartment. And what happened was the discovery of a small amount of marijuana in the passenger compartment gave rise only to an inference that the occupants were casual users, and thus furnished no cause to search the trunk where the large dealer-sized quantities of drugs would be presumably stored. So what they're saying is, cop pulls over a car, sees a small amount of marijuana in, I think, a filled canister on the floorboard, goes in, finds another joint, and then starts to search the trunk. And they're saying there is no correlation to a large quantity of marijuana. Now, if you went in and you found, let's say you search the passenger compartment, and then you found stuff that's consistent with believing that there may be more in the trunk, then you're good to go into the trunk. Like, let's say you go in, maybe you find that joint and that bud or that nug, and then you find scales and bags, and that can lead you to probable cause of trunk. But again, when in doubt, ask for consent or call a canine. That's all it just comes down to. So you can get that safety net in there. So accordingly, the court holds that in these facts, there is no rational basis presented for the trooper's conclusion that the evidence of a small amount of marijuana was suggestive of criminal activity beyond the observed possession offense. In the absence of other circumstances that suggest participation in drug traffic or possession of more contraband, such a search should not extend beyond the persons of the occupants or the passenger compartment of the vehicle. Right? And then in State versus Letman actually, troopers pull over a car. He sees a large chunk of like a powdery substance sitting in a bag. He identifies it as some kind of illegal substance. They take it out. It tests positive for cocaine. All right. Then it goes into the trunk, and they find a total of 364 vials to use to distribute cocaine, and then they were charged with that subsequently. So what the court said is the defendants had been arrested for the possession of 4.2 ounces of cocaine, a fairly substantial amount. Both defendants here denied knowledge of the contents of the plastic bag in which the cocaine was found, and Murray, after being read his Miranda rights, responded to a question from a trooper that he had placed the bag in the trunk of the vehicle but did not know of its contents. At the time, he was extremely nervous. These are the very type of circumstances that Patino court referred to as providing probable cause to search the entire vehicle, including the trunk and interior of the paper bags in the trunk. So, yeah, there are times when you can go into the trunk. Guys always call me like, oh, burnt gets you passenger, raw gets you trunk. That's not necessary, okay? You got to know where you have to tie the correlation into the extension of the car. Now, if you've never seen somebody hide anything in a engine compartment of a motor vehicle, you need to just Google that. So that's why I ask for consent to search. Make sure you're searching under the hoods of cars. All right? I have a lot more to go over. And what I'm going to do is, for now, let me just read this one real quickly. All right, so let me just read State versus Guerra, 1983. Will the strong odor of raw, unburned marijuana coming from a lawfully stopped automobile provide the police with the necessary probable cause to conduct a warrantless search of the vehicle, including its trunk and the packages found therein? And the answer is yes. All right, so in the absence of any identification of strong odor, raw, unburned marijuana was emanating merely from the passenger's compartment. Such an odor provides the necessary justification to conduct a warrantless search of the automobile, including particularly its trunk and the packages found therein, on probable cause on the automobile exception to the written warrant requirement. So what that means is, if you read this, the troopers stop the car and they could smell the raw coming from the trunk. That will permit you to go into a trunk. There's no trunk's not off limits all the time. Stop conjuring all this bullshit up and making this stuff up. Just read, guys. Just read. I'm gonna attach the links to this like I do to everything, and just get smart in this stuff so you know how to approach this when you go out. I'll give you more stuff. You can read this case. It's a really nice case. You guys can use this when you go out on the road. I am giving you these tools to not create friction between you and your administration, to not make your supervisors look stupid, but to get everybody on the same page and get knowledge so they can go out and do this job correctly. Not have to guess, not have to have the 10 guys at muster go, whoa, I heard this, I heard that. I had a guy call me today and said, I heard there's case law that says something different. That's fine. Send it to me. All you got to do is send it to me to prove me wrong, and I will address it. So far, I haven't seen anything from anybody. Why? Because I'm reading it right out of law books. So I don't know what there is to challenge. If there's something I haven't seen, maybe that's whatever you got, send it over to me. We'll read it. We'll read it on here, and I will sit here and tell you that, hey, apparently law books are wrong. These things don't need to be debated. They just are what they are. So in an effort to keep this a little more brief, have a good night. I'm really going to try to get back here over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then for the guys who are going to the the New Jersey Narcotics Conference in Atlantic City, I'll be doing a keynote Monday, 10:30 to 12:30. I'll see you guys there. I'll have something really cool for everybody. I put a little unique thing together for this, and hopefully I steal a show. So we'll see you guys later. Hey guys, if you like this video, click the subscribe button below. We're going to put a lot of stuff here on YouTube. You don't want to miss any of this stuff. It's all super valuable and can help you do your job better.